DJ Smallwood, Slingin Dirt Media out here. Is this technically Versailles? Lawrenceburg?
And so we live in Milan. Milan's about 2 miles up the road, but technically this is Pierceville.
Pierceville with Travis Butte. Travis, thanks for having me, man.
Hey, anytime. I appreciate it. I know the schedule's been a little weird, but
it has been. I know we've talked about this, and I think we were supposed to record this once before. Mm-hmm. Hey, life happens, things come up, but here we are making it happen.
I love it. So, interesting about Pierceville is Pierceville put Milan on the map.
Really?
So, the 1954 state championship and everything, all the kids were from Pierceville.
Okay.
But
they went to
Milan. There's no school around here. I mean, I just say I'm the mayor around here. Yeah. Actually, Dad's the mayor, but there's only 40 people that live in Pierceville. But
40 people.
Yep. But the Alley Cats, that was literally where my uncle and Bobby Plump and all of them used to play. Gene White, all of them used to play over here.
Really?
And then, but they all went to Milan, which there's no school around. There's one little church over here, and there's post office right there.
I was going to say, I know I've seen the post office on my way to Brownstown.
Yep. So, but that's the old joke of, Pierceville put Milan on the map.
Okay.
And rest is history.
And there it is.
Yep, rest is history.
All right. Well, let's talk, since we're talking history, let's talk about your history, man. What's going on with that? Where did you get started in dirt racing? Obviously, Modifieds ain't where you started.
No, Modifieds was not where I started. So, back in 2016, so I've always been interested in racing. So, I was in NASCAR more than anything.
Big NASCAR fan.
Oh, huge. Okay. Jeff Gordon, everything about it.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. Well, who was your driver?
Jeff Gordon.
Okay.
Of easily. But, we're going through all that. So back in 2016, going to Lawrenceburg and I got these Hornet cars. I'm like, these are super cool. Like, I can do one of these. And so I came home to Mom and Dad. I was like,
this is like a lot of fun.
I was like, I think I'm going to buy a Hornet. And no, you're not buying one of these. I was like, I don't care if you're out of my house. Like, you're not buying one of these. And, I was a freshman in college. And he's like, no. And, going back to all that, always wanted to race go-karts.
Yeah.
Want to do all that. Nope.
No.
You like sports.
Dad wouldn't have any part of it.
No, he said no. So I go to buddy's house. So Donnie Thompson, he owned a shop over here in Dillsboro. Him and I went and picked up this car. I was like, let's go buy it. It's like $1,000. Like, he says he's going to make me a deal on it. Yeah. Give me some tires. Let's go. I had no clue. I tell you some stuff on a car, but no clue about racing. I just I can race. Like, I've raced my go-kart around my tree over here plenty of times.
Yeah.
So I go get it, and I come back, and, Dad the next morning before he goes to work, he goes, what's that? I said, a race car. Just shakes his head.
He just shook his head. Mom
and Dad did not talk to me for 2 weeks.
Really?
Would not talk to me. They were mad.
You pushed the buttons.
Oh, they were not happy. I mean, I remember the first time Mom's like, what if you wrecked a car? You don't have insurance on it. What if you get injured? And all this stuff. So that was 2016. First race was at Moeller.
Oh, okay.
So we had people come with us. Donnie took me over there. And, guy went to the stopwatch, and he goes, Travis, you are 13 seconds off the pace, or whatever it was.
Seconds.
He goes, you got to pick it up.
You got to go faster.
So I do the heat race. I think I start 10th, and I think I finished 9th. And but the last 2 laps, I'm like, I can floor this thing. There's more to it. So I think there was 40 cars there or whatever. So in the B main, I start 12th, 11th or something.
Okay.
So I'm going through the B main. I'm like, I'm just flooring it. I'm putting this thing to the floor. Well, I went from 12th to 2nd in the B main. Yeah. And then on the last lap, my heading going off the track. Well, I didn't know you couldn't run steel wheels on the right front. This thing snaps. I almost hit the wall, and I remember just looking to my left and looking down there, and
you see a tire going
I did.
Down the
I'm like,
ratio.
oh my god, my tire fell off. I was like, oh, the lug nuts. At the time I didn't know it was the wheel. Yeah. And then the guy comes to me, and first thing I said was, "Did I make the race?" And he goes yes, but your tire's gone. I was like, I don't care about the tire. I just made the race.
I'll change the tire.
Yeah. Well, so we had to borrow a jack. We forgot our jack, and then we had to borrow a tire from somebody down there. I don't remember who it was,
right.
And then, so we did that.
But you made the race.
I made the race. I think the following weekend we went to North Vernon.
Okay.
But it got rained out. I remember guy with the bus parked next to us, and it was pouring, and we just sat in this bus for a couple hours.
Yeah.
So
staying out of the rain.
I did, yeah. So, and then 2017 came, and the Enduro was before the Enduro, I told Dad, I was like, just come down to one race.
Yeah.
I just...
What's it going to hurt?
Yeah. I was like, just go down to one race. He's like, oh, you got no one, I'll go. So we go down there. I think I finished 5th. I think we ran really good.
Yeah.
I think we made the race, ran 5th, ran really good. And he, on the way home, and he was like, ask me questions about it.
Right.
A couple weeks later, we ran enduro. I finished 3rd. My left wheel fell off, or my axle broke. And, so it's like rubbing. Time.
Sure.
It's going to catch on fire. And, at the end of the race, the promoter, he goes over to me, he goes, you got to stop your car. You're on fire. And I'm like, fire? Like, what do you mean? He goes, your wheel fell off. And I was like, well, I wonder why that was feeling like it was jiggling.
It wasn't handling right. I was wondering about that.
So we sold the car. We put it back together, sold it. Dad comes up to me. He's like, you going to buy another car? And I said, why? And he was like, that was kind of fun. Like,
It was kind of fun.
It was kind of fun and enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, why'd you enjoy it? He goes, well, you get to talk to people and you get to do some stuff. So we bought another car from a guy, a blue one. I'll send you a picture of it.
A blue one.
A blue Hornet.
Okay.
It was actually Sunfire. It was a Sunfire. So Cavalier Sunfire.
Yeah.
Raced that one. That was a lot of fun. We went down there, had plenty of fun.
That just sounds like totally. Ask a girl, what kind of car was it? It was blue.
It was blue. So it was a blue Sunfire. Guy said it was a good motor.
Yeah, all right.
And I saw pictures of a race. I was like, it looks good. 5-speed.
Sure.
I knew
let's
that
do
I
it.
grew up on kind of a 5-speed,
Yeah.
or 6-speed. But I was like, this looks fine. And everyone says that they were the fastest thing. And
Yeah.
so we did that. I just came back and I remember putting on jack stands in here and I was like, man, this is so cool. Like, have a
I got a race car.
And it was the other one was, if I look back at it now, I don't even know. It had like a rusted cage in the tail.
Yeah.
It had no seat. Like it was just.
Yeah.
Like I just wanted to race. Like
Sure.
Whatever it was.
I think a lot of people at one point or another has had a car like that at some point.
Oh.
Like, hey, I just want to race. And then now you think back, it's like, what was I thinking? I should have never got in that thing. Nobody should ever let me get in that thing.
So, like I said, I had a picture. I mean, I look at that thing. I'm like, oh my god, like
What was
everything.
I thinking?
I did. I like all the safety stuff. Like I got the thing around me now, and I got the Hans and everything. And like that thing had nothing. I'm like,
Yeah.
And
well, you're in a different animal now.
Yes. So 2018 goes there. We ran really good. Won first race at Route 44.
Oh, okay.
Kenny Higbee. So back in like 2018, so I got to give Kenny. So Kenny and I started becoming really good friends.
Yeah.
Dude's a wizard with, doing cages. Does a lot of just great things, and he taught me so much about the Hornet class.
Yeah.
Again, obviously Cordell Moore. He taught me a ton, and I was able to go with that. But
Right.
But Kenny, I would always take the car over there. So I ended up buying a second car there that year, and I had a black car that I wanted, but then he raced the blue one and got second, so he got it 1-2
Nice.
down there. So that was kind of a fun. I think it was
Yeah.
no one.
Yeah,
maybe,
but hey, whatever.
Maybe blow that out of here. But
We'll edit.
Yeah.
We'll be.
So we did down there. We finished 1-2. That was a lot of fun. He took care of me, taught me a lot, how to do things.
Yeah.
He would get out after work and
Right.
he'd be like, "Come over, bring your car over. We'll work on it." And so we did a lot of that stuff. And he would put cages, or he helped me put the body on, or fix things. And
so you walked me around for a few minutes. We was talking about the farm here.
yeah,
Racing Hornets, and you said you played a lot of sports.
Yeah.
In school. What sports did you play?
so I played soccer. I only played that. I played that all the way through like freshman year, and we just were not very good. And I think we scored 3 goals all year, and I had 2 of them, and I was like, that's not for me.
Right.
So I was a 3-year varsity tennis player. Played 4 years basketball, 3 years varsity. Played golf. That's what I went to college for, and I played some basketball in college.
Where did you go to college?
Hanover College. So in Madison, Hanover.
I've heard of it.
So
Heard of it.
Jerry Kramer's land. over there.
Yeah. Kramerville.
Yep, Kramerville.
So what I was getting at there with the farm and the sports, it's like I'm trying to make the connection how you landed on Hornets, but racing. You're not farming. I mean,
No.
there's a lot of land here to farm.
Like I said,
You're not a farmer. You're a racer now.
So, Dad, had it all, and I had sports, and kind of found out that I was somewhat athletic. He'd get me on the farm, whatever, like cool farm.
Yeah.
I just really came out here in my go-karts, made my own racetracks,
Just
and
made
tore it up.
circles.
Like I said, I showed you over there. Like I still got ruts over there.
Yeah.
So, and he was like, I guess we got to just start renting the ground out. So, like I said, he started renting the ground out.
Right.
Went to sports, traveled baseball. big into baseball. I just got burnt out of it. If I
Yeah.
was not saying I was solid at it, but it was just way burnt out of it.
Sure.
Burnt out of it. But I look back now, I wish I would have kept playing.
Yeah. Yeah, you can only play for so long.
Yeah.
This you can do forever.
Yep. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Literally.
Look at Danny. Yeah,
Look
right?
at Danny.
Yeah.
I mean, you can literally do it forever.
So we did that, and Dad kind of said, "All right," with the sports, and at the same time, I was like, "Oh, I want to race to go." No, sports.
No.
Sports.
You're sports. You're not a racer.
So I just watched my NASCAR every Sunday, and I raced my go-kart around here and act like I was racing other people. And
Yeah.
I had my own.
Been there, done that.
Pierceville 500 over there, and some other stuff.
Yeah. So how many years did you end up doing the Hornets?
So I guess 2016 I did a couple races, 2017 did a couple, and then 2018 I did a full season of it.
Okay.
And then 2019 I went into a mod for a year.
In 2019. So about 3 years ish.
Yeah, like I said, 18 I did probably 25 to 30 races,
Yeah.
and then 2017 I did a few, and then 2016 I did like one.
So when you go from a Hornet to a modified, you didn't do no street stock stuff, did you?
Nope.
No.
And so, end of the 2018 year, Danny lived right up the road, and he would come over, and if I had a question about the car or whatever, and he would bring some stuff over, and I was like, I think I should run I should go up a class. And he was like, okay, like what do you want to do? And I said, mod. And he was like, sure, we'll go buy one. So him and his buddy Dan, him and I went to Maysville and bought this.
Maysville, Kentucky.
Yeah, Maysville, Kentucky, so like 2.5, 3 hours away.
Yeah.
Down there, so we bought this. It was really sketchy because we went down this long driveway.
Wait a minute, this is Kentucky you're talking
Yeah,
about. It's
so
all
we're like,
sketchy.
I don't know if we're in the right spot.
Yeah.
So we went down there, got this car, brought it back, had a motor, but the motor was shot. He didn't know if it was good or not. So Mike Sadler was like, you should just build a B mod.
Sure.
Get a 350.
Get started, get some laps
Get
in
something.
it.
So we did that, and we did that. I know the first time we were out there, I was like, I'm gonna show people how to, I'm gonna do something good there. And I swear, the green flag came out on the backstretch. I hit that thing, and this thing goes. It hiked up. I was like,
You're like,
oh
wait
my
a minute.
God.
My Hornet ain't never done that.
My Hornet digs in. It don't jump. So I remember coming out of 4, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, you do this and this thing. I'm doing this, didn't know what to do, and I smacked my right rear against the wall. Brand new body.
Yeah.
Not even
Not
a half.
anymore.
Not even a half a lap into this thing. I tear up the whole thing. I come in there. I laugh. I mean, I got pictures of it. And then the Shornicks and all them came over. I mean, I didn't even get in yet, and they already got this thing before I can even get out. They got this thing jacked up,
Pulling it apart,
put the body on. So that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And so we did that for the whole 2019. At the end of the year, we got pretty good. We actually started finishing like 7th or 8th. I ran a couple times in Florence.
Yeah.
Actually, my second ever race down there in the heat race. I did some laps testing on that Friday or the week before.
Okay.
And then I actually led some laps in the heat race. We took the lead and ran some. And then I was like, I like running the wall. I was like, let's get to the wall. That was the worst thing. 'Cause I went up there and just looped it right around.
Yeah.
So that was it. We ran there a few times. We could compete pretty well, but it's just so easy to go down here for 30 minutes. And it pays more money.
Sure.
You got to travel less. I know you don't have a shot to win, but we did the best we could with what we had.
Sure.
We had some top 10s, and I think we finished 7th or 8th a couple of times.
Okay.
So, and that's the time when there was like 24. Like you had the 24 to 28 mods. Like there was sometimes we
Yes.
shut up and we didn't make the
Sure.
feature. But there was plenty of times where like we had to race our way in and do some things.
I remember those days. I remember days
Oh.
when I was getting started. It's like, dude, it seemed like it took me 5 or 6 weeks
Yep.
before I could even make a show.
Yep.
It was
So
like, man.
we learned a lot. That year, and it was just crap shocks,
Yeah.
crap springs. Like
Yeah.
we just did not put any money besides the motor. We
Sure.
put money in that. We spent a good amount on the sport mod motor for the crate, 350 crate or
Yeah.
whatever, and then
But you were running the sport mod with the A mods.
Yes.
In Lawrenceburg.
Yep. So they were
That's tough.
So Chad Cunningham did a great job. Always for the shout out, it says, now Travis Butt's out there with, half the horsepower of some of these guys. And so he always would point that out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
I appreciate
Thanks
that.
for not making me look so bad out there,
All right, I got to ask you about a name that you mentioned there a minute ago. You've got a coach. You've got a helper built in. Local legend, I call him, because he's like one of the earliest memories that I can remember when I was a kid going to watch racing. Danny Eichlin.
Oh, yeah.
So Danny's helping you now. You guys kind of teammates?
Yeah, we're teammates. Like I said, I try to,
how did that connection make?
So I knew Danny from a long time ago. So
Okay.
like I said, I had family down there that raced. He would go down there.
Yeah.
I knew Danny.
Since you were a kid.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
knew him. Like I remember when I was 10, I think I was the same size as him. So I was,
Yeah,
I'd always, level. We used to
Right,
play
yeah.
cards.
Let's say 12.
Yeah. I know it was before that.
Okay.
But so we used to do that, knew him, and then I forget. Dad ran into him 2016 when he got back building his car again.
Yeah.
He was over here just across the road.
So he lives close by too.
Yeah, he lives 5 minutes away. So Dad ran into him. He was showing us all the pictures about he's building a pure stock, and
Yeah.
I'm looking back. I'm like, Danny can't see or hear. So he
Yeah,
hasn't raced a car in like 20 years. So we did all that, and then so I was like 2016ish, and then
Yeah.
we just was like always talked, and
Sure.
and then
It's like, I love, and I don't mean to cut you off because I want to
Yeah.
hear the rest of it, but it's like, I always love hearing guys' connections. You got like some younger guys that
Mm-hmm.
are getting in, and guys coming up, but they're somehow, some way, they're paired up with like somebody that's been around it forever, like a legend. Like, I don't know, a few episodes ago, I was talking to somebody, he's like, yeah, Matt Glardy was our neighbor, and I grew up always going and watching Matt, and that's the reason I got in. It's like, okay, and now you're connected with Danny.
Yep.
It's like, I love hearing how those guys are connected.
yeah, and I think the biggest thing is like Dad didn't have the farming equipment over there, and I went over there to talk to him about something, and I'm looking at this car, and this car's in a 17 by I don't know 10 feet thing, and so he can walk around the car, but no one else can walk around this car.
A full-size person
So
can.
I was like, why don't you just bring your car over to the farm? And he was like, really? I was like, yeah. I was like, it's fine. Like I don't have a problem.
We got plenty of room.
So his rent's always like fixing things around here, right? So like we have something go on, like
Yeah.
the tractor, we
Yeah,
have something
yeah.
wrong with something else. Danny will fix.
Yeah,
we get
Danny,
to
we need
fix
you
it.
to fix this.
So we connection that way. Like our deal is, he's taught me a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff I can do on this car now that didn't know. Like
Right.
pure stock, I could do a lot of stuff he taught me. I'm not around all the time. I'm very busy with coaching basketball and I do teaching.
Now, you
and-
teach also.
Yep.
Okay.
So I like I said, I usually work. Danny comes over here about 10, 11, and then he leaves by 5. And I usually don't get home till 5. So
Yeah.
sometimes he'll leave me a list of a couple small things to do, but
Sure.
for the most part, he takes care of me, and vice versa. I try to.
But he's teaching you also,
Yeah.
hey, what you need to do,
Yeah.
what you need to learn, and things
so
like that.
the thing when I can come in here and help, it's usually
Yeah.
me getting tools for him or something, but I try to learn,
Right.
and he'll be like, well, put this on for me, or he'll tell me to do this, and Steve Ashcraft comes over too. He's a big help. That's his brother-in-law, and he'll come over and help. And like I said, there's plenty of things he's taught me. And
I met Steve.
oh, Steve's
Great
a
guy.
great guy,
Yeah.
great guy. But he, he'll help, and Danny's still teaching Steve stuff too.
Yeah.
And I still remember in the mod. So we put this rear end in, and at the 9-inch Ford, he was like, you put the bolt in the back, lock it in.
Yeah.
And Danny's like, I'm just gonna let you know, like, you do need to tighten it like that. And he goes, you got to get a new case for that rear end. He goes, that thing's shot.
Yeah.
And Steve's like, I learned something.
I learned
that day.
something.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's learning. Like I said, he's stuff. Like him and I got to put a lot of this body on, and I try not to mess with any of the motor stuff or
Yeah,
setup
leave
stuff.
it.
I can mess with that stuff, but like Danny likes to do his thing a certain
Sure,
way, and
sure.
if I had to, I could do a lot of stuff he's told me or
Yeah.
showed me or explained, like, oh, look, can you do this? Like, here's
Yeah.
a little trick. And
I always liked, if it wasn't something that I'm 100% comfortable with doing, I'm not touching
And that's
it.
what I tell. So
Not-
him and I make the joke all the time because he's doing. I'm like, you want me to do that?
Yeah.
And then now every time he goes, you want to do this? So
Yeah,
we always
yeah.
make the joke. So if that's a tight little spot, Danny will go up and do it. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I can put hoses and
Yeah.
I can put maybe a hub on or some other stuff for the most part. He
Yeah.
puts a lot of stuff on. I'm grateful for it. He takes care of me, gets a lot of stuff. I usually try to take care of. Like I'm the numbers guy. Like, give me all the parts we need to get.
Yeah.
Give me what tire. I'm the tire guy. I can grind. I can set them up.
Sure.
I'm good at that.
Yeah.
But if you need me to get parts, just give me somebody what you need to buy.
Sure.
I'll buy it all. You just polish everything. And
Yeah.
Take care. I'll wash all the
You
cars.
take care of the details.
Hey, I'll wash all the cars. I'll wash, the tires off. I'll grind all the tires. I'll get them all wrapped. I'll get them all prepped for you.
So you guys got a good little system, a good little thing going.
It's funny because like the first time, I had the mod, I just pulled it out there and started washing. He goes, what are you doing? I was like, I'm washing the car, and he goes, oh God, like you don't wash race cars, you just knock the mud off of them and take them back. And I'm like, why? He goes, then you get water in place you don't want, and this and that. And
some guys are set in their ways like that.
He's grown a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
he's okay. Like, I gotta wash his car off. Like, I gotta make it nice and pretty.
Yeah.
Like, he's okay with the outside, but a lot of the stuff on the inside, he goes, oh, you can get that wet. And
Yeah.
and he's talking about you gotta take the calipers off so they don't get water in them. And so it's kind of funny with some stuff. So he is definitely, he tells me sometimes too. He's like, oh, I learned that. Like, that's a neat way. I didn't think about doing it that way.
Yeah.
Like, he's just so old school of doing it the long way. I'm like, well, this is the way. Maybe you should think. So he's awesome. He's taught me a lot, and he's a smart dude.
Think about, I love Dan. Danny's great. You think about the history and how much racing he's done, the different eras of racing that he has seen and been a part of,
Mm-hmm.
When I did an episode with him and went back and did some editing and was fact checking some stuff, come to find out he ran like 4th in the World 100.
Oh, yeah.
Like in the early mid 70s.
It acts like no big deal.
Yeah,
it's on YouTube. So if you want to watch it,
it is.
So
Yeah.
and it's funny when everyone's walking out, and then here's him in a mullet walking out, and you're like, holy crap. But like it's funny with some of that stuff, and you ask him like, how many wins you got, and he goes,
Yeah.
I stopped keeping count after like 300. I'm like, 300?
After 300?
And he was like, I think I passed 400, not too, that. And he's won like 3 or 4 times since that. And But it's just funny. But if you go to his house, he's got all these trophies laid out. A lot of history. Oh, yeah, so much history, so much cool history. Actually, his last couple wins trophies are back. So we got both of our last winning trophies back there.
Okay.
So.
In the barn.
Back where we were. He's got both of the last 2 wins we had.
Oh, that's
my
awesome.
win and his win. We got both the trophies back there.
That's awesome.
They're dust and crap and metal shavings and
they're just trophies.
whatever.
They're just
whatever.
shiny plastic.
Like, he'll tell you, like, he'll do anything for a trophy.
Really?
Like, he goes, I just want the trophy. I don't care about the check. I just want the trophy. He'll tell you that.
Don't worry about the money that I can pay the bills with.
He'll tell you. You don't care about
the
you don't care about you don't care about the check. He wants the trophy.
Oh, I knew. It seems like every other racer in the world is the complete opposite. Hey, you can keep the trophy, just give me the money.
Well, he'll tell you like, where do you think you don't check hunt, you trophy hunt.
You trophy.
I'm like, oh,
okay.
You got a point.
You got a point. All right. So modified. You're doing modifieds now. Been doing that for a couple of years now.
Yeah, well, pure stock for a few years. So
you did do a pure stock.
So I was pure stock from 2022 to last year, so about 3 years.
Okay, so you did the sport mod for a little bit, then you went back to a pure stock.
Yep. So
Okay.
so COVID hit, so we came in, COVID hit, and we're like, we don't know what we're going to do here.
Yeah.
And then tracks kind of opened it up, and I had a couple of people ask me to race a Hornet or something, so I did that a little bit.
Yeah.
Had some fun with that. I actually bought a Hornet in 2021, raced it, wasn't too bad. Someone's like, I'll buy it. The cash she gave me, I was like, it's yours. Like,
okay.
And then so 2022, so I took that money and then went over to Kentucky and bought a pure stock, and then Danny and I put the pure stock together all. Also, so I actually got to learn more on that car than anything because he was kind of going through that chemo stuff, and he was able to put a lot of stuff together. So
Right.
I got to put some touches on some stuff that.
Get your hands on it.
Oh yeah.
Learn.
Yeah, so I learned more probably on that car because
Sure.
he's like, put the shock on and
Yeah.
put this on and put that on, and he's like, you got to beat this in to put it in, and
Yeah.
so I learned a lot with that car.
I always told people, and I really felt this way in the beginning when I first started racing. I was like, man, I'm the world's dumbest racer. I'm like, I couldn't do anything on my engine. I don't know.
Yep.
I know what the parts are. I know what they do. I can't build an engine.
Yep.
I had an engine builder, and I was happy to pay him because he could do something I couldn't do, build an engine. So, but everything else I learned hands on.
And that's what you talk about.
Yeah.
Like I tell people I got 2 good hands and a good right foot.
Yeah.
So, but it's like with golf, like everyone comes to me for golf stuff because I can tell you in and out of how to build a golf club, what to do with a golf club, how to swing a golf club. You know, and, it's just funny how people interact and how people work. They're really good. Some stuff they're really, really good at. It's like NASCAR stats. I can tell you just about any answer to a NASCAR stat, but
really,
it's just
big NASCAR nerd.
I can tell you a lot. I love going to races. I love going watching. That's my Sunday. I tell people don't mess with me on Sunday. That's my NASCAR.
That's
time.
your NASCAR day.
It's my NASCAR day.
Yeah.
I'll sit there and glued on the TV.
Yeah.
I want to watch it. If I'm going somewhere, I got my NASCAR app on. If I can't be on front of the TV, or I have
You're
where I can
paying
watch
attention
something,
to it somehow.
or I'm watching it.
Yeah. I am full of tons of useless knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell you how many acres the lake is in the middle of Daytona Speedway.
Really?
It's 44 acres.
Really? I didn't know that. So
It's 44
So I
acres.
went down to Daytona last August, and we're going back, a bunch of buddies and all of us.
Yeah.
We go down there. So we actually do like a little NASCAR podcast.
Yeah.
Stuck in the Catch Fence with Ryan and
okay.
Joe, and we do some of that stuff. We talk sometime. We've been a little busy lately. We haven't got to do it, but we do that usually every
I
week. We
think
just talk
it's,
about.
is it Lake Lloyd or Lake Floyd, maybe?
I think it's
one
Floyd,
of the two.
yeah.
Yeah. It's 44 acres.
Interesting.
And the lights, lights around the racetrack, if you put them on the road and you pulled out of Daytona, the lights could take you all the way to Kansas on the highway.
Really?
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
Like I said, so like NASCAR, like I started watching.
Useless knowledge.
Hey, that's not useless to me. I love it. But like 2001 is when I kind of started really watching NASCAR, and
Okay.
anything from about 2001 to present, I can tell you probably about
You're current on.
any Daytona winner,
Yeah.
probably the champion, what year, who won the championship and what year,
Right.
You know, just how many races people won, how many this or that.
Yeah.
You know, for a little bit, like when COVID hit, it kind of was hard to watch.
Sure.
Some of the stuff, and I was like, that's whatever. So then I still love it. I watch it. I'm a diehard.
Yeah. Die Hard. Still at it.
Still at it. Like I said, last couple weeks ago, I watched Larson win 2 of the 3 races at Homestead. Was there? That was awesome.
I've lost so much interest.
See,
in
everyone
NASCAR.
says that,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, "No, I hear it all the time, man. Back in the day, like,
Back in the day,
back in
yeah.
the day, NASCAR's the same. It's not the same."
When Bristol wasn't a coliseum.
I know, and that's what people all say that stuff. And I'm just like, to me, I just love seeing a track. I love
Sure.
just seeing a car going around the track.
Yeah.
And I just
do
love
too.
it. I think
I do too.
I just watched it. Like I said, I grew up with a big Jeff Gordon fan. I remember going to like one of the first races at Talladega. So that was 2004 was my first Talladega. Like I went to Brickyard before that.
Okay.
My first like faraway track was Talladega in 2004. Watched Jeff Gordon win it on like controversial, and I remember Dale Jr. fans just throwing beer cans, just chucking beer cans. So the next year I was a big school nerd or whatever. So the next year we went there and the race rained out in 05.
Okay.
And I'm like crying my eyes. Mom, just fly me home. I gotta go to
I don't
second
wanna be
grade.
here.
I gotta go to second grade. Like I'm a bad kid if I miss school. So that day was the only day I missed K through 12. I missed it
Really?
for a NASCAR race. So then Jeff Gordon won it on a Monday, and that's when the beer cans. So all those videos of him doing burnouts over the beer cans, I was there. I remember getting.
Really?
We got beer showered on us the whole time. I mean, just chucking, and he was doing all the burnouts on it.
Yeah.
And actually, the beer can that smoked his windshield.
Okay.
So the beer can that smoked his windshield
Yeah.
during it came from behind us.
Really?
Right behind us. I mean, just boom,
Interesting.
right on his windshield.
Interesting.
Dented and everything, so.
I'm not going to mention any names, but I've got a little bit of I guess it's a throw-in beer can story. Me and a buddy, we were leaving Eldora, and I'm going to do my best to not mention a name. He had a Western crew cab hauler. Mm-hmm. Me and him are sitting in the back seat, and we got the TV down. We're watching, and we're leaving the track, and we're drinking beer. And he raced. That'd be all right. He had raced, so we were leaving, and as we're drinking beer and leaving, he's taking the beer cans because we had friends following us. So he's chucking them up over the trailer, letting them roll off the trailer at the our friend that was behind us. So we get down the road. I don't know, we're halfway to Dayton or whatever. We stopped somewhere for gas, and they pulled in behind us. And he says, "Hey," he said, "Was it raining beer cans back there?" And the guy says, "I don't know, but the car in front of me kept swerving all over the place." So, it's a good thing it wasn't a cop or something.
Yes.
No, that could have been bad.
Oh, there's, like I said, Danny told us many stories back in the day from Eldora and some
Yeah,
other stuff.
yeah. Eldora used to be a different animal than what it is
with
now.
Earl and everyone, but yeah, I raced Eldora this past season down there. We went down there. We were way over. We were outmotored by a lot.
In the modified?
No, in the pure stock.
Pure stock.
So
The Eldora stock
They
cars.
call it super stock or something.
Yeah.
Outmotored.
Okay, it used to be Eldora stock cars.
So
Whatever they are.
We had a lot of fun, but like I said, first turn we went down there and 2 people collided, and their oil and they'd knocked hose off. I had nowhere to go, plowed right into it. So we went down there and that was a lot of fun. Got on flow, watched myself wreck.
That's
pretty fun.
That's a badass track.
Oh, 100%. So we're gonna take the mod at some point this year. We're gonna go down there again.
Okay.
We said we're gonna go back down there and have some fun. But like I said, so we did that in 22, 23, and 24.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna do this in 25.
My rookie year in the Florence Speedway Super Dirt Stocks,
Yeah.
my car was legal at Eldor. I was way under horsepower, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I had an opportunity. I wanted to go. And I let my dad talk me out of it because I really wanted to go for Rookie of the Year. I was not catching the kid that beat me. He had a factory Warrior clip car, but I still wanted to be.
Yeah.
And we still had a few races left. And hey, something may have happened. You never know. When you're second, it's like I can still try.
Yeah.
And I remember Dad saying, he said, "Well, if you go up there and if you wreck," he says, "you're not bringing a car home. You're bringing parts home." And I'm like, oh.
So it's funny.
So I didn't take my car and I didn't race it.
So 2016, I'm trying to race, and it's towards the end of the season, and I'm trying to find all these tracks. I'm looking up on Google tracks and blah blah. And
Danny can go get his dirt track
yeah,
directory.
So what is that? Farmer City.
Farmer City.
So is that in Illinois, right?
Yeah.
About 5 hours away, 4 hours away from here, maybe.
3.
Three,
Yeah.
whatever, something like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna go do that. And
Sure.
My buddy Dean, he's his best friend. I'm gonna be his, in his wedding and everything.
Okay.
I'm like, you should go with me. He's, hell yeah, let's
Let's
go.
Road trip.
Let's go. So I'm like, Dad, I think we're gonna take the trailer and
Yeah.
truck. Dad's like, you're stupid if you do that. I'm like, why? And he goes, what? If something breaks, what are you gonna do? He goes, you don't know enough about these cars. I'm like, I'll ask somebody. And he's like, I was like, oh, YouTube. And he goes, oh my god,
YouTube
goes,
University.
He goes, you're stupid if you go down there. Well, I look back on it, I'm like, that was a really good decision
to not
go.
Oh, okay.
Loved not going. So
yeah.
I think we went to a bunch of us buddies went to Cedar Point or something.
Oh, okay.
instead. So
Yeah.
that was way, but it's funny, we look back at that stuff and stuff.
If you get a chance to go to Farmer City, do it. Do it. That's a badass.
Like I said,
a badass little track.
We got kind of a schedule mapped out. Like I said,
Yeah.
we're gonna race beginning of May, and we got some schedule. We're gonna Northern All Stars. We're gonna follow that
Heck yeah.
as best we can, and then
Yeah.
like I said, Lawrenceburg, and we got some Florence and Moeller, and there's actually a track in Tennessee I've been wanting, that Mountain View.
Okay,
down
I've heard
there.
of it.
Yeah, they changed names or something.
Yeah.
I messaged the owner and the promoter. Or,
Sure.
He keeps telling me. So I think
Yeah.
we're going to try to make a trip down there at one point. I got to get around my NASCAR schedule.
Yeah,
So we're going,
check out, see when you...
Next weekend we're going to Talladega. So as this videos comes on, we're going to Talladega that weekend.
Are you going to hit the short track, the dirt track?
Yeah, we do so the last couple times we've been there, we've done that. Yeah. So I actually got a picture with Red Farmer there last time, and then he actually got into B-Main and made the feature on Red Farmer night. We went on Red Farmer night.
Red Farmer night.
Yep. So
I thought every night was Red Farmer
it
night.
Should be. So I guess he's still racing down there.
Yeah.
I think it's a Hunt the Front series too. So we're gonna go do that, and then in a couple weeks we're gonna go to another track, and then we're gonna go to Daytona. We'll go to Bristol again.
Yeah.
We went to Kansas last year, so we saw the closest finish in NASCAR history last year. It was awesome.
I
Nashville too. Charlotte.
I met Red Farmer in 23 at Talladega.
Ah.
So that was, I actually called and I actually did some stuff with the World of Outlaws, the late model series. And that was, Talladega was the first race I race directed for the World of Outlaws.
That's awesome.
So, funny thing about that is it was in the works. It had been talked about that I was going to, eventually that's where I was going to end up. Okay. So we went to Volusia, did speed weeks. I was not in the tower. I was in the pits, and I did tech and helped and did whatever. So, like I said, it had been talked about, hey, at some point you'll end up going, that's where we're going to put you. We just don't know when. It might be 2 months, 2 years. Like, hey, cool, I'm in. Let's do it. So we did Volusia. Everything went great. We come back, and we had 63 straight days of rain outs. We rained out so much. We actually had a longer off season of rain outs than we did from November to January. So the week before, we were supposed to go to 411 on a Thursday night.
That's in Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah. So we were supposed to go to 411 on Thursday and then Friday and Saturday at Talladega. So Steve calls me up, and he's Tuesday. He says, hey, me and Kenny's talked a lot about this. Kenny doesn't want to go back to the tower. He says, so are you comfortable if I go ahead and move you to the tower now? And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. He said, okay. He said, I want Thursday night to be your first night calling the race. And I said, okay. I said, how about this? Let me do this. I think this would be a better idea. Let me shadow Kenny in the tower Thursday night. That way, just in case you guys do something different that I'm not used to, or something that I would do different around here that you guys don't do, let me just shadow Kenny Thursday night, and then I'll move the tower, do it. Then I'll do it Friday and Saturday. He said, okay. He said, I'm fine with that. He said, just so you know, first race you're going to call is $50,000 to win Lake Mile Show for the World of Outlaws. I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Easy.
I'm like, and I said, Steve, I said, it don't matter if that check is for $5 or $5,000. As it doesn't go in my pocket, I'm not going to call the race any different. And he said, okay, cool. Fair enough. So Talladega was the first place I called race for the World of Outlaws.
That's a cool story.
Yeah.
So we went down there and met him and everything, and that was cool. He signed autographs, just talked to you.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Red.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was fun, and he great guy and great races. So I actually had a hobby stock class.
Yeah.
And they had like 2 people in these cars. They had 2 people. I got a video of it.
A passenger.
Yeah, they had a passenger in all these cars, and it was. We're like, that was the most fun night. That was the fun part of the night. And then yeah, it was. You know, like I said, 1 and 2 has that wall, and 3 and 4 has the top. We watched a bunch of people go over the top.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember when Lawrenceburg used to have Fun Fest?
So, yes. So, like I said, I remember the small track. Oh,
How close is that train?
The train is.
I got to mention it.
You can throw a baseball over. You could easily throw. I mean, it's so my bedroom is, like I said, it's right there, and you just get used to it. Like you notice me not even react.
You didn't. I'm just like, hey, viewers might hear that. I'm like, where in the hell is this train?
Yeah, so I mean, you open the door right here. I mean, like I said,
you can see it.
It's not even 30 yards away.
Oh, okay.
It's right there.
That explains the train.
Out that window a little bit,
That's not a sound effect that I hit. It's there's a train.
It's a button.
It's a button.
Yeah. So I don't remember. What'd you ask?
Do you remember Fun Fest? Yeah. Do you remember Fun Fest?
So I do. I remember going down there a little bit. I remember there's carnage a lot of times.
Okay.
But I remember the small. Like I said, it was more of the small track.
So you mentioned, the reason I brought that up is you mentioned the hobby stocks at Talladega had 2 people. Yeah. I seems like I remember there being a class at Fun Fest where they did, and they did. I'm sure they didn't have a lot of cars, but they had 2 people in the car.
1 steering wheel and 1 gas.
Yeah. One person did
that somewhere around here because Danny and I both said,
Let's do it.
Let's do it one time. And he's like, all right, but I'm holding the gas pedal.
Yeah.
He goes, you can do the steering wheel.
Yeah. I had a buddy of mine. He said, let's do it. And I'm like, yeah, okay. He said, but I get steering wheel. I'm like, okay. Yeah. I said, I'm putting it on the floor. This is gonna be fun. I'm not lifting.
They did that. Or have you ever seen they do overseas where they do like the stacked cars?
Yeah. They have them stacked on top. Yeah. What the heck? Where do people dream up some of this stuff?
They're probably $100 to win or something.
$100 to win, yeah.
$120 to get in, but $100 to win. Experience.
Yeah, it's all in good fun, right?
Yeah, it's fun. It's like I said, it's been frustrating the last couple of years. Had some issues and felt like we had no luck. And then towards the end of the year, we hit on something a little bit. Yeah. Changed cars a little bit, and set up a little bit and hit on something. And now Danny's driving the car, so we'll see what we do. And like I said, I don't know. We'll see. We'll go down there with the mod and we'll,
have fun.
I look nervous, but like I said, in the pure stock, the first time I went out there, it was like, oh, this is way easier than driving a mod.
I got this.
Yep. So we'll see what happens. Luckily, I've been in the car a little bit.
You've got some experience. Yeah. You've got the fundamentals.
Yeah. So I'm big into iRacing. So not so much lately, but I was really big into it. So pre-COVID, I was really big into it. I actually raced for different, not professional teams, but I got made money racing. Like they would pay me to come race.
Really?
And then I kind of got out of it. Then when COVID hit, there was nothing else to do. So I got heavy into it.
Yeah.
So I was racing for team. I was racing every night.
Yeah.
With different teams. I was making money.
Sure.
Racing. All I had to do was buy my setup and show up, and we do races. And actually at the end of the 2020-ish, 2021, came really close to trying to do some stuff. And then one day I got super it was that's when people started getting into it a lot.
Yeah.
And I got super frustrated by it, and I said, I'm done.
I
quit. I quit for a year, and then people's brought me back in lately, and the train just keeps going, doesn't it?
That's all right.
But
we know it's there.
So I got back into it, got to do some stuff with it, and then I've taken off the last couple of months, just busy and
Yeah.
people needed. Sold some guy my monitors. He needed them. I was like, just come buy mine. I'll get it.
Yeah.
I want to get a new one of those 48-inch, 49-inch, whatever's ones, but haven't bought it yet.
Yeah.
I was like,
The curve screen.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, I'm gonna buy it when I have the time to buy it. I'm not gonna buy it when I'm not. So I'm waiting on that. And,
Don't you have an old frame out there? You just put that curve in the frame and just make a simulator.
My iRacing chassis is the same color as my mod.
Oh,
so I got a full on cockpit and everything.
I need pictures
around it. Yep.
I need pictures.
We'll do that. So I got that. So actually, guy from North Carolina built it for me, and we shipped it here. And yeah, it's a whole shindig.
It's legit.
It's legit. Like I said, it's got butt kickers, so it vibrates everywhere. If you want a good sensation, that's
that's it.
So we do that, and then yeah, it's fun. Like I said, it's fun. It's nice seat.
Yeah.
No, I started with the wheel. I originally started with the one you clamped on.
Clamped on the table.
And actually, Corbin's got a nut. I gave it, gave it to him, and he's into it. But like I said, I got big into that, and you got people on there who just don't take it serious. It's like with racing. Like last year, I feel like I just got wrecked and doored, and I'm just like I try not to hit any. I don't want anybody. Like if I'm gonna take somebody, I just let out. Like I ain't gonna door somebody.
Right.
I ain't gonna cause issues, and I just feel like
I don't want to tear your shit up. I don't want to tear my shit up.
Yeah, so I feel like the last 2 years ago when I raced Danny, I raced for Danny, right?
Yeah.
And we never had an issue. The only thing I tore up all year was my right rear because it was against the wall. And actually, the first night that no, that was the year after. But I want to ride the wall. Like give me put right rear, and man, it was a black body. And by the end of the year, half of it was silver because we just
took the paint off.
Yeah, and no one else would go up there. I'm like, I'm going up there.
This is me.
I want to ride the wall. I don't want to run this bottom stuff. I don't care if I'm slowest. I was like, this looks.
It does look pretty cool.
I get extra points for doing this. So actually, 2022, the first race you did at Lawrenceburg, you started you started helping and stuff. The interview. That was my first pure stock race, and then I had trouble in my gas pedal bolt. We didn't put a lock nut on it, and it fell off going out for my heat race. So I didn't get hardly any practice. And I was like, I was starting last stuff right around, and I was like, this isn't too bad. And I'm up the top, and everyone's around the bottom. Like I'm passing cars. Like I'll run up there, and I tore down turn 4 wall. I think I tore down turn 2 wall, and then actually my rear end, it just the rear end gear snapped and whatever, but. I remember talking about it, and Travis was like, "Yeah, Travis up there first race and about tore down the wall," and it made it interesting, and it was fun. Like I said, and we didn't have any luck after that, but
well, it's good that you guys have figured some stuff out. Now you got a plan. You're headed in the right direction. Car looks hot. I think
car came out really good. So, a guy, CSG Graphics of Mickey, we've been talking about a wrap the last couple of years, and I was like, just. Give me stickers. I don't care about that. And he's like, let's do a wrap this year. And I tried to do Jeff Gordon was big into flames.
Yeah.
So he said, let's do flames. And he had a black body. And I said, let's try something. And I came in here. I was actually in Tennessee at a golf trip last weekend. He came in here and did it and came out. I was like, whoa.
That's pretty.
Danny's like, this is one of the best looking cars I've seen. He goes, you should come see it.
Yeah.
So it matches all the neon. I like bright. I'm a big neon yellow guy. And I like wearing black clothes. So
right on.
I'm kind of out of the age of wearing the neon stuff. But I like it on race cars.
I like it on race cars. It does look flashy.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Like I said, that Geek Power Coating, they do a great job. So they made it all look good, and
heck yeah,
it's awesome.
I can't wait to see this thing on the racetrack. It's going to stand out.
It's going to stand out. Hopefully, hopefully it stand up for a good reason, not because we're slow, but because it stands out for a good reason.
For a good reason, absolutely. Cool. Anything else before we wrap up?
Yeah, so I got a lot of great people to help.
You Danny. Do. Let's make sure we go through that. So all your sponsors and all your helpers. Danny, let's get all this.
Steve Ashcraft, they do great. Janine. So Janine is Steve's wife, but that's
Danny's little sister. Danny's little sister.
Danny's best sister.
Best sister. I met her too.
Yep. So she's always laughing like, take him as much as you want over here. Yeah. So Steve comes over and helps a lot. Wood Electric. He lives right up the road. They help us so much. So he's been fantastic, and he always stops by and checks on us and asks us if we need anything. So thankful for that. 4-speed on 50. Steve down there, he's got incredible stuff. Great
guy. You can't
ask for a better guy. He does so many things for the community.
Yeah.
He's willing to help. Cars and Coffee, we'll be down there plenty this year.
Yeah.
We try to go there as much as we can. But he's got a great gig down there.
Yeah, yeah.
The restaurant, have you ever ate at the restaurant yet? But
I have not. I want to.
Awesome.
Me and Steve actually talked about I might try to do a video just for the museum.
Yeah. He's got so much cool stuff down there, and he knows everything he has in there.
If you haven't, you've got to check this place out. If you're a car person, race car or any kind of hot rod, you need to go check this place out.
What's great about Steve is he buys so many things, but he can tell you where you bought it.
Yeah.
He can tell you the history behind it.
Yeah.
He can tell you everything about it. And like I said, just talking to him, it's awesome. And like I said, we're playing in his son's golf tournament down there in Ashton Oaks.
Okay.
So we try to play in that.
His son Steve.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep. Well,
I met him too.
So,
or unless he may have other sons.
Yep. So we caused for that and everything. So, let's see here, and then we have Lodic Trucking. So that's actually the business that. So Dad had the shop we're in was a truck shop, right? So the whole farm. So we always make the joke that his dad passed away. Before I could really remember him and stuff like that. But he always says, my dad's probably rolling in his grave right now thinking that this is
a race shop, not a farm.
It's a race farm now, not an actual farm.
Right.
So, but Lodic Trucking, they've supported me since the beginning. So 2018, they've supported me every single year.
Nice.
So, you can't help that. Like I said, Geek Power Coating, they've done a lot of the stuff right here. Eichler Racing, CJ Racing Engines and Transmissions, we started working with them last year a little bit with motor. They built a great motor. We didn't go very expensive on it, but they did build a great motor. He's working on it now. I got it to him a little bit late, so not really his fault. But like I told you, I said racing doesn't start for me till May. I watched myself get tore up too much. And CH&M Excavating, they've supported me since the beginning too. So lots of great stuff. Lots of great people to help. I got friends that are always asking what we're doing or go down there. We got great family members down there. Like I said, Corbin races down there too. So he's actually helped me since 2018. He always go down there, and my aunt, which is his grandma, would drop him off at the racetrack, and then we would meet him back later to meet him. So, and then he got into racing, so we always just park next to each other and go down there, and it's down there. So another guy named Brian Farmer, him and I racing. You know how racing is, being great friends. So him and I call each other. Once a week, if not more. We just go on there just to BS.
It's your racing family now.
Yes, and that's what like racing. I didn't realize that there for a while. And that's why I liked the Hornets so much. So we had a group of like 9 or 10. We just go to every racetrack together. We don't care who won.
Sure.
Cordell used to win all of them, but we would go down and we would just have fun. Like we just talk.
Yeah.
Like
hang out.
We just hang out, and that's where we became good friends. And
we go to hang out and a race broke out.
Yep. And that's what it was. We would get in our car. I'll go. We better get in our cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my parents, they've been fantastic.
They finally came around.
Yeah, so like I said, it's funny because my mom gets nervous. She didn't come like the first year. Didn't race when I raced. She didn't really come because she was nervous.
Yeah.
But then she comes to all of them, and it's funny because like the race I went at Lawrenceburg was recorded. She set up every lap, cheering me on, and always point her out. And in the picture of the victory lane, you can see her up there. She's up there cheering.
Yeah.
It's a cool. It's one of my favorite. It's actually probably one of my favorite pictures. So
I need it. I need a picture of it.
Yep. So it's up there. So we had a lot of good stuff. So. If I miss somebody, I'm sorry. There's a lot of people I help and support.
It's hard to remember everyone.
Yeah, it's just cool because everyone, it's kind of cool. You're known as not kind of a racer. People know it. People I know, like I like NASCAR and Pepsi and all this other stuff, but they just, they want to come to it.
Yeah.
My friends aren't super into it, but they ask me how it's going and what they want to do, and they come down every so often and some stuff. And I tell some of them like, man, after the race, like. People used to bring out coolers, and I know you guys like beer, so
I goes hand in hand.
Pepsi, but you can have your
your beverage of choice.
Yes, yeah. So a lot of cool things, and I'm probably missing people, and I know I'm rambling, but
it's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
What am I missing? Anything else?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I'm usually pretty good about knowing my sponsors and stuff. So
I love it. It doesn't matter how much and how well you know them. It seems like every single episode. When I ask somebody, I say, "Hey, who do you got to thank? Let's plug those." First thing they do is turn and look at the race car.
I didn't have to at first, but like I said, it was one of those things where I try to, you always try to get more sponsors.
Yeah.
I'm very, very bad at asking for money. But
sure.
when I owned my own business back in 21, 22, 23-ish, like other people weren't afraid to ask me. Like, I mean, every week I was getting asked to donate to this. And here's me, I'm just write check, and next thing I'm like, holy crap, I just spent like $3,000 on sponsorship stuff. I'm like, what am I doing? I was like, I got a race car I can put it on.
I'm so bad at it. I mean, I've gotten better at it, and I get sponsors for this, but it's like I have merchandise, hats and hoodies and T-shirts. It's like I don't even ask people to buy stuff because it's like, hey, you guys need to spend your money on your race car and not buying my stuff.
I hope you got a sticker. We'll put it on. You got a sticker.
I do. I got stickers.
Yeah, so we'll put it on. So I actually just put an order in for T-shirts and hats and stuff. So we're gonna try that a little bit this year. I got a guy that works down at Headlines, and he's gonna make me a good deal on some shirts and everything. So I did shirts back in like 2018, and they went over really well. And I don't know why I didn't buy more. Yeah. But I was like, what I had. And then so we're gonna do that this year and see what happens.
Well, maybe with a car looking this good, you might have to get one of these guys to. You might have to
get
some. You might have to work on some pullback cars.
Like I said, Mickey did. I mean, you look at it. The color and everything pops, and like I said, we rolled it outside, and it was like, whoa, that's a sharp car, and like I said, we got the spoiler to go with it too. So
I can't wait to see it on the track.
Yep, I appreciate it.
Cool. All right, we're gonna make that happen.
All right,
we're gonna wrap things up. It's been good. It's been solid. Travis is awesome. Got some great stories. Walked around the farm, showed me some stuff here, man. It was definitely good. Definitely a good episode.
I know I ramble a lot of times. So when I get going, I could probably sit here for another hour. And
dude, trust me, we could probably spend 3 more hours talking about racing stuff.
That podcast we do that all the time. Sometimes they're like, oh, you gotta. I'm like, I just love talking about NASCAR and I love talking about racing, and I really never got to tell the story behind. You tell a few people, and you never got to really tell the story behind how everything goes. And it's funny. Like I said, I tell my parents, like they. Love them to death, and but they didn't talk to me for 2 weeks after that. They cannot believe I bought that car, and after that race, they didn't ask me a single question about how it went.
They didn't say nothing.
Nope, they didn't ask me how it went. Nothing. They just saw we brought a car home, and that was it. And then
they were not happy.
Nope. And like I said, now they always are asking when was the next race, and when's it happening, and they supported me. Like I said, they donated all kinds of stuff, and.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad they finally came around. Parents do that.
They are glad too.
Yeah, parents.
They're just looking out for safety, right?
Sure.
If they would have saw the back of that cage, they would probably be even more pissed.
We won't tell them about that. Cool. All right, we're gonna wrap things up. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode with Travis. You can check him out. The track. He'll probably get started here in the next couple of weeks. We'll get this episode up, and hope you guys like it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that great stuff, and like always. We'll see you at the track next week. Thanks.